Once upon a time, two men decided if they were making the cut. And then they made the cut. And now JT and Aaron are talking everything from wrestling to pop culture and beyond, because it's no holds barred.
Will you back down, turn and run, or stand up with the best? When your back's to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard?
It's no holds barred.
Yes!
Oh, that was intense.
It feels like forever. It feels like forever for you guys. It has not been that long. Let me ask you something. What are you going to go see this weekend? Is it Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Oh, both. I'm doing the double Barbenhopper.
Nice. And it's looking like a great summer.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. It'll be good. It's already WrestleMania season from the summer. That happened fast across that moment. We're doing so much WrestleMania stuff on the North South Connection. A lot of it is simulcast, both audio and video. And this show is one of them. So you can listen to us on our audio feed on a podcast application or right here on our YouTube channel if you're watching. Hello. This is a good one to watch.
Yeah, if you don't want to see our fucking faces, go audio.
Yeah, but it's a good one to watch because we get the graphic. You're going to want to follow along because we're doing a tier list tonight. So you want to be with us. Right. And we've done so much cool WrestleMania stuff. We're counting down the top 40 WrestleMania performers of all time, ranking every WrestleMania match ever in short form. Chad and I hit WrestleMania 13 on Wrestling Warzone. And Aaron, you and I have a WrestleMania themed tier list for everybody here tonight that we're going to be diving into. Would you like to explain the concept that you've come up with in ranking all 39 of these WrestleManias?
Well, look, theme is vague. Okay, let's just say theme can be very vague. So I think this is a list that is, we're not going to be basing this at all on the match quality, on the maybe the feel good moments, we'll see. But the idea here is that, like, what are they going for in terms of a general theme for the whole night? That involves look, that involves card pacing, that involves taglines. You know, if they set the whole thing up as the wildest fight since the OK Corral, and then none of the matches are a brawl, and it doesn't look like the Wild West, it probably wouldn't do well, kind of thing.
Correct.
So I think it's a vague thing.
Royal 2014. Right.
I think the theme of that one is disappointment.
Yes, anger.
Anger, fury. Batista is a theme. But I think that generally encapsulates it all. I know it's vague, but it is vague. I'm sorry. Like, it's look, it's feel, it's theme songs, it's all that stuff.
Okay. Well, I think we'll just dive in and we'll just go with it. As we go, and you can play along and make sure you leave some comments how you would rank these if we're way off and what you would do with them. We'd appreciate it. So producer Tim is with us as always. He's going to go ahead and pull up the big board. Yep. And what we've decided with is we're going to have 5 middle tiers of 7 WrestleManias each. That's 35. Yep. And then we'll have 2 greatest of all time and 2, as we like to call them, WOTs, worst of all time.
Whoa! The WOT tab.
Joey Lawrence. So that'll be our 39 total WrestleManias, and we'll go from there. So producer Tim, whenever you're ready, we can pop that up. Here we go.
Joey Lawrence and Joey Tribbiani mixed up all the time.
I mean, they could be the same guy. They didn't run at the same time. All right, first up is WrestleMania 34. So I believe this is one of the ones we're starting off with already that didn't really have a because we're going to use like the tagline of the show as a jumping off point for the conversation. Yeah. 34 is one that did not have a tagline. Like what would your gut reaction be to like the theme of that show?
It's the jester hat. That's like, to me, that's the whole thing, because I believe it was 30, which is let the good times roll, right?
Right. 30 is like a parade to celebrate. I guess we'll get to 30, but to me, a parade to crown a new king of the WWE. This one, to me, 34 is like a Mardi Gras celebration.
Yeah, I guess. It's so hard when it was only 4 years earlier that they were there with it. So I don't think this is worst of all time. I think the set is really quite incredible.
Set's amazing.
Yeah. Like so that's got to count for something. What were the songs that were in this one?
I have to pull it up. One thing I will say that's awesome that does add to the theme for me is the bars entrance. They come out of the Mardi Gras float with like the full parade.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's pretty cool. Like, I think that does add to the ambiance. You know,
I
some
just-
of the theme too is like almost like legends collide, because you have like the Taker Cena thing, which is
Yeah.
kind of like this long-awaited Mania War. You have the return of Daniel Bryan. This legend returns home in New Orleans. Brock and Reigns are kind of like the two
Again.
legends of that era. I know again, but it kind of feels like it's shaped up to be like, you know, Rousey's debut. So maybe not legends, but like the battle of icons, like icons wrestling or whatever. Which, by the way, I just randomly chose this shirt.
um, it it also feels like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Like that's another talking point out of that is that Undertaker's still winning. Whatchamacallit, Reigns and Brock
are still fighting.
now, like
Charlotte's still winning.
yeah, Charlotte. AJ Styles is still the champion despite. So I don't think this is a bad one. I really think it's kind of in the middle, but I think it's going to get here. Celebrate by Kid Rock, Let the Good Times Roll by Freddie King. This is great, Tim. I appreciate these songs because we're going to need them for all. I would say that I think honestly, I think it goes in D or maybe even E. Not because I think it's bad, but I think it's going to get pushed down by.
Let's put it in D for now and assume it's going to be at the end of D.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. All right. What's next? 12.
WrestleMania 12. So that one is like, well, how would you describe that one?
So here's how I would describe it. I think it's a Hollywood theme. You get the MGM sign. No, I do think it is like a Hollywood vibe to it. But I think that it's presented in a way that the wrestlers themselves are the stars of this WrestleMania, because 11 was all celebrities. And it's almost like they went complete opposite and flipped it around for 12. And they have this tight roster that's been kind of cleaned out. A lot of dead wood is gone. And it's like some new guys, some older guys there to help put over the new guys. You're crowning Shawn, the childhood journey, which is cinematic. So, yes, I think it's like a Hollywood vibe where the wrestlers themselves star in the show.
I think we have two potential taglines. One is, we make movies, pal. But the other one is, listen, this is who we have.
This is it.
Yeah, this is we're doing our
Kenny Loggins once said.
This is it. Yeah. So it's like it's a weird one because it almost feels in some ways like Shawn winning the title is almost the triumph of the clique in some ways. But the problem is Razor suspended and Diesel loses to Undertaker.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like Shawn rises from the ashes of the clique. Like it's almost like the crowning moment, but the rest had to die for him to rise. Kind of, you know.
Well, 1, 2, 3 Kid was put in a diaper. Triple H got murdered earlier in the night.
I mean, you could almost say it's really like, if you want to even go tighter, it's like the movie is like the end of the new generation. It's kind of what it is, because 96 is still new gen-ish, but you're really ending the era that was like post Hogan till around here. That 93, 94, 95 era kind of dies around this time. So
you're right, because it's the last of the hokey. Like, you know, by 97, you're not getting the OJ chase anymore. No. You know, like you're not getting that weird phone call.
But even look at the roster, like on this show alone, there's like no gimmicks. It's Brett and Shawn. Goldust is the only one, but even he's more like realism gimmick. You got Goldust and Piper. You got Predator. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's as played as it gets. Savio Vega, right? He's not really much of a gimmick. You got Owen, Bulldog, and Yoko. Not really a gimmick besides like Cornette. Ahmed,
Jake's out of shape,
Jake,
like us.
Yeah, he's just a fat drunk, but that's his life. He's not a gimmick.
We get
Ahmed. Vader is as real as it gets. Who am I missing? I think it's Taker and Diesel. Like Taker's gimmicky, but he's kind of breaking out of the gimmick a little bit more. Yeah. Diesel's whole run in early 96 is about being just him. So it really is like the eschewing of the age of Aquarius of the age of like the gimmicky shit. So I think
with that then is I think there's an incongruity. This will be the sign. So here's my thought on it is that if you're trying to make a movie and make it glitzy and glamorous, which is kind of what the setup is, like with the promos of Brett and Shawn working out, the Hollywood backlot bra, contrasted with the grit and realism of the characters. So I think it kind of fails.
It's almost, unless you look at it as like an indie film.
Well, I guess
gritty and like
Brett
realistic
with
and
Brett and
scripted.
Sean on top, it is like an indie film. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that to like shit on them, but it is weird to go from like when you look at the vast of WrestleMania, it's sandwiched in between. Not that there's not others, but like
Right.
you got Hogan is a movie star, Austin and Rock are movie stars later, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you got these kind of. You're right. It is kind of like an indie film, but I also think we're reading a lot into it, which is what we have to do because the theme isn't clear. There we go. I think if they made more of an effort though to decorate the place too, we could put it higher.
Yeah, it's a very basic arena.
I think it's fine in E. The fact that we had to dig this deep to try and figure it out puts it in E. So it's not bad. It's not like they tried something incredible and whiffed on it. It's just they were presenting a wrestling show.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
WrestleMania 20, where it all begins again. I think this might be sneaky high for this one. Like, I love the idea of it's an interesting thing because by naming it this vague bullshit of when it all begins again, it kind of lets you do everything, and they kind of do. You get the new beginnings with Benoit and Guerrero. Not Guerrero won the year once before. That doesn't matter. It feels like a new direction for the company.
Yes.
But by the same token, you have Rock coming back. You have Foley, right? Like you have the latest new guy going away forever. You get that great open with Vince and his son and his grandson.
That's what I say. That's really adds to the theme. Well, yeah, with Vince's son and Shane and Declan, who's now a football player.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it definitely felt like. I mean, honestly, if Vince like had stepped away at that show, like that's what it felt like it was building to, right?
Yeah.
And now we're passing it on to Shane to run the company, or obviously. The world of succession of WWE does not end that way. But that's the vibe you get at that show, and it's bookended by a serial rapist and a serial killer. But it is what it is. At the time, it was it was special in the moment. The one thing I thought that they whiffed on a little bit was not having a lot of like old wrestlers in the crowd, and there are some like Trump is there. They got Jesse and Bobby and stuff and Gene because they're doing the Hall of Fame. So there's some. Oh yeah. But I thought it was really cool to have wrestlers spattered all throughout the crowd because it's 20. We're back in the Garden. Like they could have put like Nash and Hall, even guys like that, like in the crowd.
But then you'd have to pay them, and you know how Vince is with that.
Yeah, they could have paid them, but they do have a lot for the Hall of Fame. If that adds to it as well, it's like the first big Hall of Fame class. Yeah.
And MSG.
Yes.
Like, I mean, those are all naturally going to get pumped up because no matter what, that's their home arena. Like, even though now they will never go back there for a Mania, like it still feels like that's WrestleMania's home, which is strange. But I'm okay with it in A tier for now. I think it makes the most sense there. I think that you're right with the wrestlers whiffing, and I also think not to get ahead, but like they probably could have decorated it a bit better. Like,
well, that's the thing through most of these early Manias. Like some have a cool entrance, but the arena itself is not done up. I feel like 21, it kind of starts, and then 22, where they have those cool pictures around and everything, is when they start to kind of do more around it. There's a few outliers, like 7 is cool, but you know, others mostly they're like just very basic arena looks for early on.
Yeah. 33. Good song for 33 because 33 is the ultimate thrill ride.
Woo! All right, so 33 is A for me. I think it's the most beautifully stunning, amazing looking set. It's one I was at live; it was even more impressive. But when you watch it back, it still holds up. That visual of the globe and the roller coaster and the sky turning dark behind it, but not dark yet, like when it's like kind of dusk. I think it looks amazing. I think the canopy looks great. I think the only thing you could argue is if you want to say the match setup didn't exactly sync up. The one thing you could say was kind of a wild thrill ride was the return of the Hardys, I guess, is kind of cool. Goldberg and Brock, you could argue, is maybe a bit of a thrill ride. It's like a sprint, and it's like it's over before you know it, right? It's crazy. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I think it's super high.
I think it's the best set they've ever done. It's the best looking. Like there's a shot of Roman after he's beaten Taker. He's kind of standing at the lip of the entranceway, and it's a shot with the purple fireworks in the background. And I think it's probably the best shot they've ever had, like of anything. But the only thing I would say, like kind of counter, is that like to it being super high, is it doesn't feel like an exciting show, and it's based entirely around it being exciting. And it's a long show that dies after a certain period.
So I'm curious on your thought on this. Are you factoring in, because I think when you think of theme, right, this is stuff that they set up ahead of time.
Mhm.
So should we be basing it on the card or the output of the matches? Because there's a picture right there. Producer Tim's pulling up. It is an amazing shot. Because like to me, the booking is okay, like the decisions, but I think you almost have to like separate the match quality out because that's not really baked into the theme that's being set up for the night.
I guess, but what it kind of reminds me of, it's not this, but I'm going to give you like an extreme example. It's like, imagine they named the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell and then didn't have a Hell in a Cell match. Like,
yeah, but I think the problem is we're ascribing that we think that they want to match matches to the theme, and I don't think that's true. Like I think maybe here and there that's true, but I think consistently for WrestleMania, it's not a goal of theirs to set a tagline and assume that the card's going to follow that.
I don't think so either, but I think it enhances it if it does.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And that's why I'm thinking like if anything would knock it out of that it would be that. In that, like, it didn't kind of follow through on the promise that it was going to be this thrilling ride the whole way through.
So how about back end to A for right now, based solely on the set, the imagery, the look, the Hardy return, which kind of goes with that. And Goldberg Brock, I think, is a perfect epitome, like you said, of a roller coaster match, because it's only 4 minutes and it's like freaking insane and you're bumping all over the place. And
but imagine being on that roller coaster for Roman Reigns and Taker 23 minutes.
And you could argue there's some real bad lows. Well, you could argue that a roller coaster is ups and downs. So there are a lot of ups and downs on that card. Like we get some highs and some real lows. So
on a roller coaster, you're never like, when is this ending? You're like, oh, you're excited for the next one.
You haven't rode Superman at Six Flags. I want that fucking thing to end as soon as I take off. All right, what's next?
26. That's to me, that's the red WrestleMania.
The desert, yeah.
Because like I find like throughout this era, like 25 was like completely blue. Like all the lights in the crowd were blue.
Yep.
And this one, it was all red. It was so stark. Tagline is "Get all fired up." Does this one feel a bit bare to you?
Yeah, I mean, when I think of the WrestleMania, I just think of disappointment. Like, I was so hyped for this Mania. The build was great. I got fired up for it, and it really kind of crapped out. Like, it didn't. It's a very good Mania, but it's one that had potential to be like iconic. You know,
and it ended the streak. It ended the streak of like the great Manias.
Yeah,
I mean, 27 really ended it, but like, this was like the chink in the armor of it. Like, because I think 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 were all like top tier. And then this one felt a step back. But that being said, I just think the set is a bit nondescript. It looks good, but I don't know. I want to give it points for having Thunderstruck by AC/DC though. That one definitely.
Well, and they do match like the desert vibe well. Like they're in the desert. It's kind of has like that Aztec vibe to it a little bit, like with the bunting, the red and yellow and black bunting and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's C feels right. It's kind of just a mid.
Sure.
It's a mid across the board.
Okay. Mid. 35. All right.
Long.
Yeah. I hope you don't have to be anywhere tomorrow. It should be that was the also the public transit system is not adequate enough for this WrestleMania. I don't know what the theme of this one was. Like, the theme feels like the women are main eventing. but
Yeah,
that
it's
doesn't
the
feel
it's the
strong enough as a
revolution,
theme.
right? It's
Yeah,
almost
but it's
like
not,
it's not the theme, but it's almost like the end of the bloated era. So it's a super bloated. It's like we're gonna get it all in because this is it.
yeah.
But I guess you could, I don't know, like
The
maybe
set was
it's like a
go on.
David versus Goliath or like a Giant Slayer vibe. Like Kofi finally wins a big one. The women finally main event to pay per view. Rollins upsets Brock Lesnar. It kind of has like a little bit of that vibe to it. Corbin beats Kurt Angle. There's some of
The
that in there.
Australians win the tag titles.
Oh yeah, the Iconics winning was kind of an upset. It's kind of like upset. Even Hawkins and Ryder win on the fucking pre-show. Like
That's right.
it's a very like the underdog wins WrestleMania.
Triple H finally beats Batista.
Oh, after all these years, yes, of fighting.
Finally gets a win, even though Batista demanded the match for some reason. Hey, I beat you every time I've ever fought you. I demand, give me what I want.
One more.
I think the set was a major letdown. This is the only WrestleMania I've been to live, and I remember getting there and thinking like, "Ah,
it's a little simplistic." I mean, the 29 set's superior for the same place.
Yeah. So I think if we roll it into the upset mania, which is strange, I think it's probably still not great. I think it's probably in D.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But I guess we'll see how it compares to others. WrestleMania 1.
Where it all begins.
Yeah, again.
The greatest wrestling event of all time. So was it to that point? Probably not.
I think I like it better than Starrcade 83.
Yeah, you got like the Showdown at Shea, like some stuff like that. Star Wars 83 or 82. What's the big one of World Class with Von Erich and Flair? But it's I mean, it almost would have been better if they called it like the biggest versus the greatest. Because you could argue it's the biggest one to the point, but they really hype it up like this is going to be what you're used to seeing, but with a whole bunch of extra shit. And it's all the celebrities, all the stars, and massive main event. Yeah,
they're big celebrities. It's later on they're going to struggle to find big celebrities.
Yeah,
but
Mr.
this is
T,
like
Liberace,
Cyndi Lauper, like Muhammad Ali. So it's look, it's going to get hurt because of the lighting and there's no set and stuff like that. But it is. You got to give it credit for being the first of its kind and really trying to like jump up and to go out and say the greatest wrestling event of all time, and to not have people after the fact being like that was bullshit is probably meaningful, right? So I don't think it's near the.
Yeah, but see, to me, you almost can't grade it against the ones that come after it because that was never known if there was even going to be another one, right? So like. You almost have to grade it in a vacuum of its era. So you can't say like, well, compared to WrestleMania, 18 or 17, it looks so small. It's just a house show. But in the moment, nothing like that had been seen on a national basis with all these celebrities. I think it's high. I mean, honestly, I think it's high.
Yeah, I don't think it's that high. Like I'm thinking bottom of the A, top of the B.
Yeah. Let's put in the top of the B for now.
It's one thing to say like, well, we can't compare it, but then you run into that. Problem of like, well, then it's the best one.
Well, no.
Like,
so I think we can compare it.
Yeah.
I think we can compare it to how good the other ones are. I don't think we can compare it compare the show.
It's not fair. Yeah,
yes.
It's not fair.
But we can say we like what 33 does versus what 1 does. That's fine. But I don't think we can judge one by how good the other ones are later.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
Okay. All right. I think there's
What's
good.
next? 7. Oh, 7's got to be high. Great look to the arena. Superstars and forever. To that point, the best looking WrestleMania.
Move it up, Tim. Goat.
Yeah, I don't know if it's GOAT
for now. Goat for now. Goat for now, or top of the A at least, because it's got the All-American theme. It's presented that way. It's built the entire show that way. You have the red, white, and blue around the sides. Even Warriors kind of got that little bit of a theme to it. You got Duggan in the Apollo Creed Uncle Sam outfit. He comes out to start the show. Hogan Slaughter is completely built around the theme. Celebrates with the American flag at the end.
Now, allow me to throw this out there. Do you feel that's potentially alienating for people who are not from the States?
In 1991, no.
I don't know. Like, I think it's up there. Like, I think that's actually.
Well, I shouldn't say no. I should say in 1991, who gives a fuck? Like, I mean, like, that's just how the world was. Like, if they did that now, I think it feels that way more. I think in 1991, countries at war. Well, it's kind of wrapping up a war. They were, they picked a weak war to go all in on. But
they should have done WrestleMania 7 in 1944.
Yeah, I think it's A. I mean, I think it's one of the most beautifully pleasing looking manias.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's odd that Superstars and Stripes, and yet they bring over the Japanese wrestlers to defeat the evil painted guys.
But they're friendly ones.
But aside that, I love the look of it. I do think it holds true to what it says it's going to do too. Like it is Superstars and Stripes. I love,
and they talk about it the whole time.
Yeah, the celebrities on it are
Americana, baby. What's more American than Regis and Kathy Lee?
And Trump.
I mean, I'm kind of being facetious, but really, like a celebrity talk show is very American. Jeopardy is one of the most beloved American game shows of all time. You got a hot woman getting dumped on with champagne in the back. I mean, that's American.
Yeah,
and those lousy Canadian Heart Foundation loss.
That's right. To the American Nasty Boys. It's up there. It's up there. I do think there is something about. If you're not from America, it's not as special.
You got the drunk, blind, homeless guy beating the Canadian model.
That's what's upsetting about it. All right, what's the next one? 32. That's the Dallas Cowboys mania, right?
Yeah.
That's the we're gonna be here until next month mania. That's the 11:45 at night. I'm gonna fucking cut a soliloquy mania.
So to me, 32 is the theme is. Like everything's bigger in Texas. Like Jerry World is the biggest stadium. The crowd is the biggest of all time. You got the biggest Hollywood celebrity in the card in Rock there shooting the fucking pyro. You got Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, which is like the biggest well-known cheerleader group in America. It's a supersized card, So I think My House is a pretty iconic theme as well.
I love that one too.
And that really fits. Like it's Jerry World, My House. Like we're all coming to my house. Like They have all the stars are there. Austin is there. Sean, Foley, Cena.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as much as we hate 32, it's not a bad theme. I think somewhere in the middle is a good choice for it. Like, I don't think it stands out as like the top, but I don't think it's the bottom. I think it's it's a solid theme that they do well with.
Yeah. And it looks cool. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Look, and if I'm going to make yeah, it does. And if I'm going to make the argument that if they have a tagline and if they go towards it, it should count for something. Well, they did try to make this one big.
Right. Yeah, they did.
They failed, but I mean, they didn't fail at making it big. I mean, it's the most bloated WrestleMania, right?
Well, I mean, as we saw like on War, Marcus and I do, this actually finished okay because even though it's a long card, like it does very well. There's a lot of moments. The crowd is really good throughout most of the show until the end. The entrances are cool. Everything reacts well. Like, so it's really just the matches toward the back are so long. And that stupid Rock Cena thing is what does it. Like if they cut that down
40 minutes, like it's like, how long is that thing? Like 25 minutes? Like
it's over 30, I think. So, I mean, if you take that down to like 8, like, and cut the cell down, you don't need to do much else, honestly.
And
you can talk the main event all
the
day.
Right thing.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but even if you want to give them that, if you just cut down those other two things, because the show's great up until the women's match. I mean, it's really good, and then it just goes completely. downhill.
Because it's the ladder match. Then it's Jericho and
AJ.
Yeah. Really good. Yeah. The women's.
You got the New Day stuff with Austin and Sean and Foley is hot.
The only issue with that is that the League of Nations is like a bit of a lame group for that, but whatever, it is what it is. How are you feeling with it in the middle? Do you think it should go higher?
No, I think C is good. I think I'd have it above 26 though.
I would agree with that. Boom, 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 boom. 22.
Boom,
Okay,
boom.
that's big time. Big time.
Up the list. This is an A1 for me right now.
Yeah.
You got Big Time is an iconic song. I think I'd put it as like a top 3, maybe. Mania song. When you think of the song, when you hear the song, you think of the Mania. I think it's up there.
Hello.
I also just love the pictures around the arena. Look awesome. I think it might be the best. Maybe after 7, it's like the best. A basic arena looked. It's in the Rosemont. It's very simple, but it has a really cool set with all the buildings and then the pictures around the side.
Yeah, and you got the cool Chicago entrance for Cena, which and the Conan the Barbarian for some reason.
Yeah.
But I like that. Even Ray coming out for his thing is interesting.
Yes, the Aztecs with POD playing live. That's cool. The only thing you could say they didn't, if it's big time, is they don't really have a big match. Like Shawn and Vince is a great match, but you don't think of Shawn as like on the iconic list of Vince opponents, like rivals, you know? And then Cena Triple H was like a big match, but it's not like a Cena Rock or Austin, Rock or whatever.
It's not a big match like comparatively, but it's probably the biggest match they could have done, and the most legitimizing for Cena. I think you can also throw in like Edge and Foley. The whole story is about creating that big time moment.
Yes,
for both of them, which I thought is weaved in nicely. So yes, look, it's one of my favorite WrestleManias too. I like the pictures. I remember at the time thinking like, why is that there? Like, I know it seems strange, but like, it's such a weird choice for a decoration. But I love it. Like now that
it's cool. They keep it for Raw too the next night because they filmed it at the same building, so that's cool.
I want to take it down.
Yeah, why bother? I think it's an A tier for now. I think would you have it above 20? What else is that? I can't tell. What are you moving around, Tim?
I think I'd have 20 ahead of it.
I can't tell. What's between 20 and 7? Is that 22?
That's 22. I think I'd have 20 ahead of it because of the how the booking kind of supports the theme a bit more. But
above 33?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Hi there.
Where are we going? What city? We got 39. That's Vegas. Vegas?
No. LA last year.
Oh, it's Hollywood.
Another one to me is top of the list. I think it looks fucking amazing. It's one I've been rewatching, and the arena just looks like spectacular. They rerun back the WrestleMania 21 Hollywood videos, mini movies, which is cool.
Yeah,
it's loaded with great matches that feel like Oscar award worthy. To me, this is like near the top as well. Like I think they really crushed this one across the board. The only thing that misses is that Cody would have won it, and like the cinematic story, right?
Cinematic story. How do you feel about the Auschwitz imagery controversy that I saw as I was?
I'm also,
Do you actually know what this is?
I remember it vaguely from the time.
Yeah, during the pre-show, WWE showed footage of the Auschwitz death camp in a video promoting a match between Rey and Dominic Mysterio. What the fuck were they thinking?
We probably didn't need that. It's a bad choice.
Probably. No, there's other camps you could put. There's other compounds.
It's heavyweights, Camp Hope. I think they should have done. Or there's also great Dom's entrance is like very cinematic, and also he comes out with the from the paddy wagon, and he comes out with the handcuffs. So I don't know. This I hate to keep loading the A's here, but I think this one's an A look for me.
I think near the back.
I think it's I'd move 30. Let's move 33 down.
Yeah, because I think that this one kind of delivers a bit more on the promise of it being a Hollywood production. Like, Snoop Dogg is involved in a match because of Shane McMahon, right? Like,
well, he's the host, right? Too. So like you have him there. Miz is hosting. He's kind of like the A-list WWE guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's leave it at the back of the A, and we'll see how that turns out.
Okay.
Yikes.
If you haven't looked at 39 lately, check it out because I had forgotten how awesome it looked.
Yeah. 14 X-rated. Well,
think
it's
it's
not
kind of
X-rated.
low, because they don't really do anything super tittillating besides the DX band performing national anthem, kind of weird, and then the two entrances. I mean, Austin
I don't.
ends the X-rated stuff. Tyson doesn't do anything super controversial.
Here's a take on it though. The promotion is like full in on the anti-hero, and that's what they go 1000% on this show.
Yeah.
Right. It's the most anti-hero. Even the celebrities they bring in are all like, it's Pete Rose, it's
Right.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Flowers, it's Mike
Right.
Tyson, who, the DX band does the anthem. So I actually think this one is sneakier higher than you think, because it's really hyper appropriate to the era. Right.
They just don't do anything super over the edge, but I guess they're not quite there yet. Yeah, and the arena is very bland, which also doesn't add a ton to it. So I think it's probably higher than you think, but it's more like a C to me. Like, I don't think I'd go higher than that.
I think it's like C, back end of B, because I think you got to factor in what that show, the feel of that show, the level of violence that's different, like with the Outlaws and the dumpster and all that. You got the bad guys going over in a bunch of situations, like The Rock retaining his title. I'm not arguing it's the top, but I think when you factor in I really think the anti-hero stuff is important for this one.
All right, let's put it at the top of C for now, with the idea that it could end up as a B.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't really care in the end. It's all for fun. What's next? 31. The play button.
Play. 31's weird.
That's the one where
it's another. Yeah.
They were like, we're not calling it 31, right?
Right, correct. This is actually, I think 40 is the first time they're bringing the number back since 30.
Well, yep.
It's been in the imagery, so there's that. I would say it looks awesome. It's another one that looks great. I do remember that song "Rise." They perform it live. This again felt more like the. It almost felt like the FU show. Like, the fans were so raging against the promotion, and it's almost like the promotion said, "Watch, we can still do it. We could still put out a great show." It's almost like the corporate mania. Like, Triple H goes over Sting, Rollins,
everything
the Architect
clean.
wins the world title. Yeah, it's very clean, very sanitized.
The Terminator stuff is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't see how it is appropriate, but it's interesting, if nothing else.
Well, it's kind of like robotic AI, like Silicon Valley. Like, that's how they kind of play it up, because that's what they call it, is like a Silicon Valley when they're advertising it. So it's very, just like robot. I don't know how to clean, straight, metallic.
Is it hurt at all for you because, like, the Undertaker coming out in light, and like, I think those kind of things matter a little bit, but not a ton. But
all right, so stack this one versus 32.
They feel very similar. I personally prefer the look and feel of this one to 32, but I also wasn't there though, like you were, right? Like
32.
So,
when I walked in that stadium, I think it was the most I've ever been like, holy shit! Like, this looks like amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, 31 also. I remember the heat. I think a lot of people complained about that were there. Like, it was so fucking hot in the sun, which affected, I think, the crowd through some of it. But I think I'd have it right there. I think right next to 32. I think is better than 26. Tim, let's move 26 down to D. I don't see it lasting in C. The more we talk,
that's fine. But I would put this one above 32.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm not. I like them both, so I'm good either way.
Yeah,
I love that. I actually, besides Sting losing, which I disagree with, I like the way that match looks. Like, when I think of this Mania, I think of how great Sting looks in that outside stadium, the black and white,
with the drums,
the NWO coming out, the DX coming out, like everything just looks so cool in that match. Like, I love everything about it. I just wish Sting won. Actually, I like the way they do it. It feels like a Attitude Era,
schmoz.
Love.
Yeah, I like it too. It's just I hate. It's stupid this thing lost, and also I hate anytime there's a sledgehammer, I'm out. So
All right, what's next?
13.
13.
Heat.
Heat.
Heat. There's not much. This is not a great theme, I don't think.
No, it's low because it's as Chad and I've talked about the build up in reviewing the show.
Yeah.
This Mania changes so much, the entire build, that I think any theme or idea they had was never going to match what they were doing because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing 2 weeks before. They changed the whole direction of the company 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
They overhauled their TV. Everything changes. So to me, there was no way for them to ever match. Ideally, this should have been like WrestleMania, like the Dark Days or something like that. Like would have clicked probably. They were never going to call it like Blood from a Stone or something, obviously, because they weren't going to tip that off. But
they were in like it's like they're in between two eras too, because you have a match like Brett and Steve Austin, which is clearly where the promotion's going and what it should be now in this era. But then you have Rocky Maivia fighting the Sultan, which is something that should have happened a decade and a half earlier, right? Like in terms of that. So it's this weird period of transition.
Heat touches nothing. I mean, there's no fire theme about it. If anything, it should have been glass because the glass breaks for Austin.
Yeah. Heat and glass. All right. Put it, I think, in E. I don't think it's a woat.
Yet. We'll see.
But it might be. 18.
So icon versus icon, right? Is that the absolute best ever?
I think this one is sneaky low too.
Right, because icon versus icon really captures Hogan Rock. It's built around them, but they don't main event. It does deliver. The match does deliver. The crowd delivers.
Amazing. Yeah.
But nothing else really. The only one you could say comes close is Taker Flair. They don't build it as an icons match, but it's two icons.
But
I don't. And the arena is very, very bland. They don't really do much with the Sky Dome.
They never figured out what to do with the Sky Dome. Maybe that's why they never went back. It doesn't look bad or anything, but it's bland in comparison to even those around it. So I think it's unfair to compare like 1 to 17 or 1 to 19. But I think it's completely fair to compare 18 to 17 and 19. And because they did nothing, I think this is an E, almost certainly. And it might even go lower.
So what are our Ds? I'm really struggling with 26. I don't know why. What else is there?
I think you
35.
made the strongest point. You made the strongest point for 26 when we're talking about the desert look and feel. I think to me, that's the most interesting aspect of it that I hadn't really thought about. Because all I think about when that one is red.
So would you have this below 34 and 35?
I think so, because 34 and 35, like, there's a spectacular look to them no matter what. I was disappointed by the set at 35, but the whole building still looked great, right? This, I don't know. This reminds me of one, not in a good way. It's a dark building, like you're not seeing.
Would you have it ahead of 12?
I think we've talked 12 ahead of it. I think I'd have it between 12 and 13.
Okay. All right. That's our biggest upset, I think, so far. I'm not even disagreeing with it. Like, you didn't. I came in thinking it'd be low, but I think if you were to talk about this ahead of time and just throw it out there and like have people guess, I think they would not guess this is like an E.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because if they wanted to icon and icon, they have so many guys they could have thrown into matches together, right? That they just didn't do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the most rebookable cards.
Yeah. WrestleMania 10 is up there. Like, WrestleMania 10 has the look of the building that 20 should have built on.
Right.
Like that look of the building is unreal. I love it. I love the like they always had the Roman numerals, but then they kind of changed the Roman numeral. It looked even classier. I love that. 10 years in the making makes sense. It almost mirrors Bret Hart's career because he kind of comes in 1985 and he's finally like crowned here.
And they've wonderfully indirectly made every 10 years feel like the start of a new era. And I don't know if they plan it that way, but like 10 feels that way. Like with Bret, it really feels like the dagger in the Hogan era. 20, we talked about it. We'll talk about 30 and 40. If they crown Cody, I think it'll follow in that trend of like the next guy gets crowned every 10 years. So it's kind of cool the way it falls. I like 10. I have it above 20. You got the Bill Clinton impersonator, which was like hot at the time too. So it's kind of timely on that. They bring back
the broken hand.
To bring back Leilani Kai.
That's right.
They do have some timely celebs. Like Reynolds was kind of going through a little bit of a rebirth. Jenny Garth was hot at 90210. Rhonda Shearer
Yeah.
for USA was kind of big on TV.
Up all
Donnie
night.
Wahlberg with NKOTB, of course, was big in the early 90s. So
Yeah. No, I think this is a really solid one, and I think everything in the card kind of builds to it too. Like,
yeah,
you know, because the tagline is very much like this has been 10 years in the making, right? So you
Yeah.
could apply that to Brett and Owen, right?
Right.
They've been brothers that have been competing
Yep.
forever, right? You could compare that to like Shawn Michaels was at a long, not 10 years, but a long intercontinental
Yes.
thing that it's built into this. So I think it really works well for everything.
Yep. Next.
Next. 3.
Ooh.
Bigger, better, badder. So I think the tagline is 1000% appropriate. No matter what, they've nailed the tagline. Like the tagline, it's exactly that. It's bigger, it's bigger, better, and badder than the previous two, by all means. Plus, you've got Andre as the challenger, so bigger is apropos. But I think
Badder because you got a bad IC title match.
Look, I can see not liking going 5 stars, but to call it bad,
No, I know. I got to troll
that's
some.
garbage.
Let's wait till this WrestleMania
Badder.
countdown gets to that match.
Badder when King Kong Bundy tries to murder a little person.
yes, that's better.
Yeah, the arena looks incredible. I love the ring carts. That's
Aretha Franklin. What
Aretha
if he did
Franklin.
this? Ready? What if he was like Aretha Franklin?
Slowly? That'd be interesting. Look, Alice Cooper's there. It feels like a huge event, and it feels like it lives up to what it is. I don't. It's a hard one to compare to the top one. It's hard to compare 3 to 33.
Yeah,
like it really.
it's also got the ring
like,
cart, which is awesome.
The ring carts are.
Yeah.
Should put it go just because of that, but
All right, so let's let me start comping it for you. This versus 10-20. I want to factor in that picture too, the poster and the VHS. It says Hogan and Andre staring down, which is the biggest match of all time.
And allow me one other thing. Like the commentary all night talks to how dire the situation is for Hogan.
Mhm.
Like it really felt like he was done or dead, right? Like, and they do such a great job of selling that this is his biggest challenge and he'll never be able to overcome it. And it's hard. I like the look of 10 probably more. 20 feels more emotional because of the father-son stuff. But 3 is bigger, better, badder.
Yeah. I think all right, so 3 versus 7.
I like it more than 7. But I can see how
Good enough to
being
be
a
in the
Canadian-
goats or at the top of the A's.
I've only got one that's in my mind for GOAT right now.
All right, put in the goat for now. I don't think it's crazy to put this in the goat for now.
Okay. It wouldn't be that one. but
Everyone
I'm
can
happy
stop
to-
fucking crying about WrestleMania 3 getting overlooked.
Who did that?
Shut up now. All right, 21. The second of the 3 WrestleMania Goes Hollywoods.
That's right.
The mini
Yeah.
movies are phenomenal leading
Yeah.
into it.
The set's incredible.
Yep.
And they're
Not a lot
making
of
2 new
celebrities,
stars.
though. Not a lot of celebrities, though.
No, but the return of Hogan.
Yeah, and Austin is there. Piper's there.
That's right.
It's a very good throwback to 1, which is cool. Like they do like a lot of like the whole Hall of Fame class is kind of like the WrestleMania 1 class. So it kind of feels like a torch passing from like the 85 group to like this group here.
Yeah.
Akabono.
Look, it's something different. Money in the Bank, which like feels like a lottery, which is like if you're talking about like Hollywood and dreams, like that kind of plays into that too.
All right. Well, how would you have this
another-
versus 10 and 20 again?
I don't think I'd have it ahead of 10 and 20. I think the conversation starts at 22.
I think it's ahead of 22. 22, the biggest thing that carries 22 for me is Big Time, which I think is the best song. And it's got some cool entrances, like you said, the Chicago thing. So it does feel big.
Yeah.
22 to me feels like, and I think it's just a song, maybe. It's like the 80s excess. Like that, they kind of went back to, it's like a throwback to the excess era of the 80s, right? Like everything's.
And Vince came out with excess.
Yeah, excess mass. All right, I think 21 there above 22 feels right. I guess 39 is going to be for now. Not crazy about that.
25. 25th anniversary WrestleMania. Number one, I want to put it in vote just because it's fucking wrong. Look, there's two things in wrestling that bother me. Well, there's a lot, but two big things. One, when they say something's an anniversary when it's not, because the 25th of something is not the anniversary. And two is when two people win a Survivor Series match and they say sole survivors. Both those things drive me up the fucking wall.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be at the bottom, though. I don't think.
No, so it's got the like you said, the blue hue. It's kind of built around Austin's Hall of Fame. They do a good job with the Texas feel, like all the Texas guys go in the Hall of Fame. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides it just having the big 25 and like the bluish theme to it, there's not a lot else cooking there.
No, and they've dropped the ball with what could have been a cool thing with the divas.
Right.
Like they kind of waste them all with Kid Rock singing as opposed to like actually celebrate. Hey, Sonny's here for the first time in 10 years.
They didn't even mention her. Like, they're not even mention her.
Yeah. Maybe that was smart in the end.
But,
but again, if that, I remember at the time thinking, oh, that kind of sucks.
Right.
So I don't know. It's D or E for me. Where are you at? I'm also happy to just put it in woke for the anniversary thing.
Let's put it at the end of E for right now. Well, no, put it above 13.
Yeah, it has more than 13.
Okay.
I'd probably say has more than 18 too.
No, I think the icon thing is bigger than anything at 25. Because they do deliver on that.
Yeah, I guess. But it's like a prettier, it looks better, it sounds better. Like there's like you're right, the tagline is they live up to it, but the look and the feel is probably more slanted towards 25.
Yeah. I'll leave it like that for
Splitting
now.
hairs.
What's next?
Splitting hairs. 23. All Grown Up. I hated this theme. Like I hated the tagline of All Grown Up.
The opening video. But I will say this. It's not the tagline, but the Motor City vibe is phenomenal.
Oh, great.
It's fantastic. They highlight a lot back to 3. You got Aretha Franklin. The design has that car feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cena come out in the car? Someone comes out in a car, right? At that show?
He comes out in a car in 22. He smashes through the.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, no, he does. No, it's this one. It's this
the
one.
Convertible or whatever, right? Or the sports car.
Yeah, where he kind of
22. He comes out with the Tommy
Capone.
gun on the. So this is the one with the car, which is really cool. You got Trump McMahon kind of hammered in there with the hair versus hair, which doesn't really fit any of the theme.
No.
Yeah, so I'd probably back a C, high D, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like I can never feel comfortable with like a kid portraying Ashley Mazzaro.
Yeah.
Like and dressed like her. It's like, come on.
Yeah, they all and all the people in the cornfields watching. Was that one or was that 18? What's the one where they all look up? They're all watching.
It's one of the ones where Freddie Blassie.
Oh no, it's 17. 17 is the one,
Yeah.
the weird one. They open doesn't really fit much. It's like random people watching on like tiny TVs in the gas station.
That was next. 19. Dare to Dream. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
No. Dare to Dream of a show that's better than 17.
Yep, I'm daring. I like the look. The look is very unique because it's in the baseball stadium, but I don't think it's spectacular.
Yeah.
And there isn't really a connecting theme to any of this. Like, Dare to Dream. Okay. Brock's already been champion. He's already achieved his dream.
Right.
Hogan and Vince, there's no dream there. Like, Like it should be called Blood Feud. That's what this one should be called, because that's all there. This is, if they had based this around like One More Time or something like that, like, because that's what the whole show is. The show is Angle Brock, which is a rematch, or it's not a rematch. They hadn't fought yet, but it's Brock trying to conquer again. It's Hogan Vince. Yes, they hadn't fought, but they've been kind of feuding for 2 decades. And then Austin Rock. So.
And they could have used the Daft Punk song "One More Time."
I think it's down.
Yeah, which is crazy because it's such a great Mania.
Yeah.
Where do you have it versus 30?
Right.
I think it's above. I don't know, below 35. I think
as a theme, yeah, because even we talked ourselves into 35 being like the underdog Mania, right? Where it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
Like, maybe at the top of the E.
Over 12.
Yeah, I think so. That's where my instinct says, but
yeah, okay, that's fine.
What's next? 29.
Ooh,
Twice in a lifetime. Great set. We already talked about it. Great set.
Amazing.
Great
set.
looking show. But again, what's the feel or the what are we going?
I think it's because they weren't going to do it for 30, which I remember being kind of shocked at the time. I thought that for sure they'd do MSG for 30. They do a very big coming home vibe. That's the theme. Diddy doing the concert. It's very New York feeling. They do the Hurricane Sandy stuff to open the show. We're coming home to help our hometown. The set, like we said, the set's gorgeous. The matches, I don't know if they sync up with it per se, that theme, but it just felt like it was the company was coming home for WrestleMania, and they kind of build the theme around that. So I think because the matches don't, fit necessarily, I think it brings it down to maybe like low B, high C.
Yeah. I don't think I'd have 14 behind it. I think I'd have 14 and 31 ahead of it.
Yeah.
But I don't honestly, like between 31 and 29, it feels like an aesthetic thing, and I prefer the aesthetic of 31. But if you prefer 29, put it ahead. Like it doesn't really.
No, I think 31, 29, 32 is fine, because I think 29 set definitely rivals 32.
Yeah, I would agree. GOAT. WrestleMania 9 is the GOAT, right? Like, am I insane?
No,
like,
it's
so
whoever
cool.
thought there'd be a list where that's like the number one, but
yeah. And like, even like Julius Caesar was a prick and like did sneaky shit, and every match has some sneaky shit or a prick in it. Like, but look, I mean, top to bottom, this whole thing is themed, right? Like down to what the announcers are wearing. They've never gone as all in on a theme. And as a result, I still like watching this one, even though the matches aren't great. Like,
yeah, it's an easy watch, right? I mean, to have the togas, the look, the crowd. I think, I mean, I don't think we have to belabor it. It's the best.
An ancient Greek character debuts. 30 is Let the Good Times Roll.
Yeah, which I don't think really fits anything going on. I think 30, if you look at it, it feels more like celebration. Like, to me, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a party vibe. I wasn't there, but those that are there say like that's what it felt like in the arena. It was just like a party. Everyone was feeling good, celebrating Brian. It's what everyone wanted. It's kind of it's like almost like a make good for some of the shit that had been going on at the end of 2013, early 14. It felt like a present. So that's why I felt like a party to celebrate. The Shield has a good feel-good win. Cesaro wins the Andre. Taker and Brock is like a massive moment. You get the streak ending. So it's like, whoa.
Isn't everything you're describing though, Let the Good Times Roll? Like, isn't that what a party
is? Yeah, it's a
like
party.
it. I don't know. To me, that it actually fits quite well. Like with it. Like, I think honestly, the only whiff on this one is not maybe leaning heavier into the Wyatt stuff. because the Wyatts were kind of like, I mean, was it ever explicitly said they were from that area? But like, they felt home in that area. Like they were treated
Right.
like
Yeah.
hometown guys when they came out. This was also the one where you got the 2 live bands too.
Yes. Yep.
Bray got played out and Orton got played out. So I don't know. Like,
All right, we still got room in the A.
yeah, I think it might be up there. Because it delivers.
Ahead of 10. I mean, it's right with 10 and 20. So I think it's the top of those three. I think it's like those three are very similar.
You think would you put it ahead of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think it's I think because the Bryan win was such a cathartic moment, that's a real celebratory moment. I don't know if there's ever been a happier crowd in WrestleMania history than Bryan winning at 30.
Yeah. I buy it. 4. Maybe at this one, people were happy. They're happy it was over. So the whole theme of this one, it says what the world is watching, but that was their theme for their whole.
Is watching.
I think it's just the tournament, right? Like that's the theme.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, kind of feels like it. Like they try and kind of bring that vibe.
Yeah.
Because they're in Trump Plaza, the casino. This is also meant to feel very like big 80s, like you know, again, the like Wall Street, Trump, all the high rollers, Robin Leach, you know, like Vanna White, like is very kind of presented as like a classic beauty. Like so it's Liz and all the dresses. A
Ted
tournament
DiBiase.
is kind of like he's got the scroll. Yeah, DiBiase all through the night. Like it feels very like money, like big money is kind of the vibe I get with this show.
And it delivers that.
Yeah.
Like it does deliver it.
Yeah.
I think I actually think the look of 4 and 5 are really unique and different too.
Right.
They're not spectacular per se, but there's something about that staircase which is interesting. Like, I don't know. This one's kind of probably in the middle.
Let's do. I don't know how Tim's drawing these, but let's do 4 and 5 together because I mean they're obviously like very, very similar. So, as far as look goes, so 5, same look, exactly the same. They don't change a fucking thing in the building. Obviously, the whole thing is around the mega powers exploding, this friendship coming to a head. Everyone remembers mega powers explode. It's built as such. So, how would you stack? Let's start 4 versus 5.
I think 5 is higher because I think 5, when you go down the card, it's very much a blood feud card.
Right.
Like there's a lot of like, you got Martel turning on Tito.
Hercules Haku.
Hercules. Yes. Jake and
although low key that actually is. It's Herc and Heenan, which is a pretty good
feud. He's sold as a slave. But there's that. There's Fuji and Demolition. Like it's all about the revenge. This card is about revenge. Like that's kind of how I see this card. Like even Martel turning on Tito is kind of revenge for him, like getting hurt the year before, right? And I think that kind of plays in. Like the mega powers exploding is about revenge. It's about Savage not feeling he's getting his due and going after Hogan. And I think the rest of the card stacks up really well with that.
Yeah. All right, so 5 versus 1.
I'd have 5 ahead.
Okay, 5 versus 33.
I would have 5 ahead, but
5 versus 39.
I would have 5 ahead.
This is where I struggle, and I kind of want to drop 22 below 39.
Okay. Would
so
you have 39 ahead of? Would you have 39 ahead of 5?
I would, but I'm okay if you want to leave it there, and that would max out as of right now. That would max out our A's.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But what about 4?
The one thing I think that hurts 4 and 5 is the look is just very antiseptic. And the stairs are cool, but it's like so vast and the crowds are kind of a little bit blah. So that does hurt. Also in my mind, I think I mentioned this a few pods. WrestleMania 5, my buddy had recorded or got a copy of from someone that had a black box. And it had like this weird mustard yellow hue for some reason over the tape. So forever in my mind, 5 was very like washed yellow, until I saw it like years later on like a rented copy or whatever. Like,
Wait a
wow, this
minute.
actually looks really nice.
It's like in a movie when they go to Mexico and like the filter
Yes,
is
yeah.
yellow.
Or like where they probably added color, like it was the Vase. So yes, I would say that's one thing. There, 4, it's below 1 for me.
I would have 4 below.
We'll never know what he's going to say. Maybe below 32 feels right.
Oh, did it cut? I would have 4 below 14.
So you'd have
For
it
sure.
above that triumphant.
No, I don't know.
29, 31, 32?
I don't know. That I'm not sure, that we could hash out, but I'd have it definitely below 14 because I feel it's the same kind of feel, except 14 does what it's accomplishing better, I think.
Yeah.
Look, 4 can't compare to 31, 29, or 32 in terms of look. It's nowhere near.
Let's drop it below those, but let's keep it above like the 23, 26 for now.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. 27. The biggest WrestleMania ever. Put it in fucking quote.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing memorable about like Rock comes out. I couldn't tell. I mean, it's also what I haven't watched in forever, so it may be a little unfair, but it's got the worst, the biggest WrestleMania ever, the worst match ever.
Yeah.
You know, Taker.
What the worst match is.
Yeah, it depends how you view Taker Triple H, right? The main event's
Yeah.
one of the worst main events of all time.
Yeah.
Rock is kind of disappointing in his stuff.
I will say the using the Johnny Cash song for Undertaker. That's where
Yeah,
they
that's
used it,
great.
right? That was incredible.
No, is that here or 28? I think it's here.
I think it's here.
Yeah.
Because 28 they do the Metallica for the cage.
All right.
Yeah, the set does look good, but it's not the biggest WrestleMania ever, and
Right.
it can't be based on what they served us. And the problem with all of that too is they could have served us the biggest WrestleMania ever.
They could have given us Rock Cena or Undertaker Cena.
Yeah, yeah, and Jerry Lawler winning the world title.
Yeah, I mean, they could have made Lawler's One Mania match count instead of dog shit.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm fine with it. Next.
in Wout 38. Christ.
So this is
The
like
most-
32 light.
Oh, this is the stupendous.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to hear
It's
the
just-
word stupendous way too much during the course of the night.
it's a terrible tagline, but this Mania to me still looks great. Rewatching it recently, the crowd is, I think it's one of the best Mania crowds ever, and it's overlooked as such. They are hot like the whole time. It's got like Austin's return is super memorable. It's kind of like the night of like, I'm gonna say change, but respect to like the old guard or something. Hunter comes back from the heart attack. Vince has his last Mania match. Cody comes back. I don't know, like the main event, kind of sucks, but the Johnny Knoxville stuff is awesome. But it's all kind of, it's not like right, that too, but there's like, it's not a great threading of all that together.
Yeah, it feels like 39. Sorry, excuse me.
I was gonna say, no,
30.
it's not. Yeah.
No, sorry, no, 35.
Yeah.
It feels like 35.
It feels like your walls are about to collapse. Are you okay?
Yeah, I know. What the hell's going on? I don't know
You
what
have a
that
large
is.
moose in the wall.
Apparently. But as I was saying, it feels like 35. No, there's no moose in the wall, just outside.
And the theme is a sacrifice by The Weeknd in Swedish. That's not even a song. They should use Sacrifice by Elton John. Would have been better. Sacrifice. All right. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe the dead guy in the wall is finally coming back to life.
Maybe. Anyway, where did we end up putting it?
I don't know. I'd put it low. I think I'm gonna go lower.
Yeah, put it next to 35, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. The crowd to me is what carries it, and the set.
Yeah. 11. Your favorite?
So, yeah, I mean, 11. I wouldn't put it low. I mean, the arena is very bland. I do think they do a good job of delivering on like it's like the celebrity mania. They do have loaded up with celebrities, whether they're C-list or not. They do go overboard. Even the main event, they have the whole like NFL vibe, salt and pepper. it almost feels like a throwback to 2 in both good and
Yeah.
bad ways. Where it's kind of a weak card, but it's loaded with all these like C-list celebrities.
Yeah.
Where would you have it versus 13? I guess to start with, I think it's above 13 because I think
It's
at least
above
has
13.
a premise.
Yeah, it's above 13. What's the one beside 13? It's too small for me to see.
25.
25. Put it ahead of 25. And I'd put it ahead of 18 too, probably.
Yeah. I think it fits nicely with 12 because to me, 12
Yeah.
plays off 11. We talked about this earlier. 11 is like a celebrity obsessed. 12 is the opposite. They go to Hollywood with no celebrities. It almost is like they're fixing it.
Yeah, I would agree. But I think in terms of theme, I might put it one ahead of 12.
Yeah.
Because it does feel more like a WrestleMania than 12, despite the fact that the matches don't. But like what they go and I mean, they have LT fighting, right? Like that's
what's above that? Oh, 19?
19. I could put it ahead of 19.
No, I think 19 is good there because I do like the baseball stadium vibe of 19 with the
It's different.
crooked aisle and everything. It feels like a cool thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I mean, this is the woke. It's not even close.
Oh yeah. I
don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, put it there. Yeah, we know why.
Yeah.
2000.
Low.
Yeah, also low.
It's like the theme is like computerized, but they don't really do anything with it. And then it's got the stupid McMahon in every corner, which is dumb.
Yeah.
I would argue that 2000 is the laziest WrestleMania. Because they thought they could coast on like the roster and being hot, and they just don't. It seems like they didn't put the effort in to make it like a great show at all.
No, I would agree with that. And
everyone's off their game to where JR's even calling it out on commentary.
This one feels the most like a house show of any of them.
Right. I mean, besides Pete Rose, which is fun,
the best.
Ice-T, I guess, with the Godfather, but beyond that,
no. I don't think it's woke, but I think it's probably
it's above 13 because Heat doesn't. There's no vibe to 13.
Yeah.
And 2000 is another one that's like another Hollywood one that they don't really.
Yeah, but they don't call it that. It's
no, I know, but it could have been
right? Yeah,
because they're on Saturday Night Live right before. Like it really could have been another. Right. I mean, 12's Anaheim. We said that was Hollywood.
Yeah.
Would you put above or below 18 and 25?
I think it's good where it is.
Okay.
I would consider it for woke over 27.
27.
But 27 is really hurt by calling it the biggest of the best of all time or the biggest of all time. Like
I think 27 it's a little better than that.
The set looks great in 27. I'll say that for 27.
Yeah, 2000 doesn't have much of a set. So would you put 2000 behind 13 then if you're willing to swap it with 27? Or do you want to move 2000? Let's move 2000 to the WOT and put 27 ahead of 13.
Yeah, okay. That seems fair. The ultimate challenge.
I mean,
I think you have to treat it the same way as you treat 18 in terms of theme.
Right.
Like, because, and let's make the argument for me that the ultimate challenge transcends that one match. Because if we're going to say 18 was icon versus icon and they delivered on that, but the rest of it didn't fit, it didn't look good, it didn't do this, that, and the other thing, then I think it needs to be close to that. Unless you want to bump it up a bit for the ring carts also, which I'm...
The ring carts, I think the Skydome looks cooler.
I find it looks the same. I find it looks exactly the same.
I don't know. It's like a little, it's got that extra little blue and the Skydome's brand new. They really play up the Skydome as 6 more. Jesse's obsessed with this luxury box.
It has just opened. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's cool, but like they're in a brand new building. It doesn't feel outdated or old. It feels like, wow, the state of the art. Like that was the state of the art stadium. And WrestleMania is there. It was their first stadium since 3, which felt like worthy of a Hogan Warrior. You got the constellations.
Yeah, the beginning's great, but the beginning of 18 is great also. Like
I would argue, Demolition Colossals is kind of like a little bit of a ultimate challenge vibe, right? Demolition going for the 3-peat against one of the greatest of all time. But beyond that, there's not a ton else.
Is Demolition and the Colossals living up to the theme equal to Undertaker and Flair living up to the theme? Because
I think it's more because the Demolition pop is massive, and Andre turns face. and rides out in
Right.
the cart, which is like,
Beautiful.
you know, him and Hogan losing is kind of fitting, right? On that show. Like it's almost the end of that era. Now we know it didn't end up being, but in the moment, it feels like
Yeah.
we're passing the torch to Warrior and whoever else, Beefcake. I don't know the fuck else on that night. Perfect record ends. It does feel like a lot of ultimate challenges were made. Like Beefcake challenges Perfect to his record. Piper challenges Bad News to see who can be more racist. Demolition challenges for the tag titles.
Jimmy Hart
trying to get the
challenges
belts
Frankie.
back. Yeah, I don't know. Like it feels like there's some of that in there. Rhodes is savage.
Yeah,
Liz
look,
comes back.
I think it's higher than 18. I just don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think it goes that high. Like I think
I have it
in
above
the
38.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'd put it above 38.
Below 35.
5.
Yeah, all right.
Remember, we're not ranking these on quality.
I know.
That's why 9 is in the GOAT. 15, the raging climax.
Ugh.
So, like,
the raging climax.
So the raging climax, it feels like the climax of the chaos that's happening on Raw. Like, I don't think it's a welcome card. I think it's a mess, but Raw's kind of a mess, with the exception of a few things.
Well, if you look at like breakdown to here as the build to Mania, it's chaos. Vince is throwing his power around. Austin's trying to do his best to combat it. We get the swerve at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Things are kind of going all over the place, left and right. Everything keeps changing. I think it. Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that the arena looks very bland. There's nothing to it at all. The set is very bland. Our B category is empty. So unless we get some heavy Bs coming.
Yeah, things are going to even out.
All right, where'd you put 15 versus 14? Because they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
They're both in a basic arena, but have like a dedicated vibe.
I'd put it below 14. I'm not trying to dig my heels in on 14. I just love the anti-hero feel of it. And I actually think that is the feel, right? And I think they knock it out of the park with that. So
above 31?
Maybe. Like, if it's the climax, you got that shot of Austin with his foot on Vince.
Right. But
like,
the feud doesn't end there. Does that hurt it?
No.
It's a climax
I don't know.
Bart Gunn's push.
Bart Gunn's life. Never the same after.
Although I had a great match in TNA after.
That's
Saturn.
Boss Man's life ends too that night. It's weird. Do you think he ejaculates as he's hanging?
Yeah, there's a raging climax. They also had the rage party, which was cool with
right.
Chef and Big Pun.
That's right. Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're in the right area. I think it's somewhere around here. It just depends on, do you want to put it below the spectacular looking ones? Or
he's played that too. Yeah, I mean, what are you leaning toward? The grandiose everything, or 15 having more of a connective theme throughout the night of this is like all this shit coming to a head, or big things change, DX ends, Triple H turns, China turns.
Look, here's how I would put it out there. And I think it's going to depend. It depends on what you like, obviously, right? But like, to me, 31, 29, 32. Beautiful, clean, like gorgeous to look at, like a bit soulless. Whereas like this is more, it feels real. It feels like I care about it. Now that just might be, I was more invested then than it was there. So I don't want to let the bias come in too much, but to me, that's the kind of thing that matters. Like, I don't know. What's your take?
Yeah, I like it there. I think it's such a hot promotion. It's what 2000 should have felt like.
Right.
Everything feels hot. It's a journey. The show feels like a journey. That's for all the misgivings of Russo and for all the negative talk about his era.
Yeah.
All the pay-per-views feel like a story. Like a lot of the matches may be random and maybe suck, but at least the night feels like a journey. You feel like you start, there's a story along the way, and we end with some kind of thing happening. Like shit happens. And there's a reason when Marcus and I did that season of War, they all did pretty well. Like stuff happens. Like things that matter occur on the shows. 31 and 32. I mean, 31 has that, but 32 and 38 and like you know, there's cool, fun moments, but like what's happening that we care about long term.
Yeah.
You know, 15, I think, captures that vibe of the company at the time.
Yeah, I would agree. Next.
Mm.
It's going to be B, 28. I think 28 is I think it's
Sneaky
a sneaky goat. It might be close to that. Like, because it feels like once in a lifetime. Now I know we're going to look, now we know it wasn't.
Right. But remember, we're doing this in the moment. We've committed to that. The
arena looks incredible. The match was built for a year, which helps the atmosphere and theme too. I'm not usually a fan of concerts, but like because it was once in a lifetime and because it was this giant match, I like that they kind of both got sung out by a different artist in a theme song. Yeah, I don't have a lot of negative with this one. Like once in a lifetime that Undertaker and Triple H fought and Michaels was the ref inside Hell in a Cell was technically the end of an era, right? Like you'll never see this again. Once in a lifetime, they all get to say goodbye, right?
Is this the Flow Rider show? This is the Flow Rider show, right? Too.
Yes, they could all be the Flow Rider shows,
but this is the one where he like does something backstage and he's really involved, right?
He shoves Heath Slater.
Yeah.
All
right. So would you bump anything out of the A for it?
I might bump 3 out of the GOAT for it.
Well, then something's going to come out of the A.
Yeah. Well, the bottom of the A.
So that's
39.
We're going to argue over 39 at the end of this.
That's fine. You can put it wherever you want. I don't really care. Like I have no connection to 39. Like at all. Like I know, but you could tell. Yeah, but that matters, right? Because I don't think there's a universal theme. I think the show is a great show.
But I think there is. If you look at it, it's like I don't know how I hadn't done much about it. I'm watching it now, or I'm watching it back now. So doing this, right? And I was like, holy fuck! Like this is it's just a gorgeous mania, and to me, that plays to the, Austinance of Hollywood. It's like the gold is everywhere. It looks unbelievable. It's in the state-of-the-art stadium. You got the storybook Zayn and Owen stuff, like cinematic vibe to it. Like I think I don't know. I think there's more to it than meets the eye. But let's finish these last.
Look, I'm going to be totally transparent. I struggle with those ones because I find the shows interminably boring. Like even 39.
But that one of them is like one with the most great stuff.
I get it. And it's funny because I can look at it and acknowledge that it's great, but it's like it's so empty for me, right? Whereas these ones are full. And that's why I'm happy for you to put it wherever you want, because I'm not coming at it from a fair perspective.
Well, let's leave it at the top of B for now. Let's do these last 5 and then we're gonna have to shuffle some stuff.
Okay. 17. I don't know if it's a great theme.
So the theme is what? What's it called?
Houston, we have a problem.
What's the problem? It's a stupid tagline, honestly.
Yeah.
My way should have been the tagline. The whole night's my way, right? I mean, they play it like 38 times. The video package is my way. Austin's doing it his way. That's the whole night, right? The whole night is about I'm going to do what I have to do to get what I want, right? So that's the theme, really. And I do think that feathers in throughout the show. It does feel big. We're in the Astrodome. Everything feels large. It's the peak of the Attitude Era. WCW's dead. They're in the skybox. Like it definitely feels.
Okay, I gotta stop. Sorry.
All right. Full disclosure: we had a pause for the banging in Aaron's walls. So do we know what it was?
So I don't know. I'm hoping my foundation isn't cracking. That's number one. But there's outside the window. There's a window here. You can't see, or you could have. I lifted, but anyway, there's a bucket outside, like that we put under. We have a hose to catch the water, but like I would say at least 6 times over the winter, something has died in it, drowning. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
Something
I'm not
fighting
going
in
to
the
worry.
bucket. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was.
Your house caves in. We'll see if we capture it on air.
When this wall falls on me.
So while you were diagnosing the structure of the house, I had some thoughts on 17. This is what I
Yep.
want to do, and I want your thoughts on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna to make you happy along this journey. I'm gonna move 5 below 30. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So
Okay.
follow along. 5's going below 30. Below 30, not 20. 30. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm gonna move 10 and 20 to the top of the B's.
Okay.
Okay. Same order, 10 and 20.
Okay.
I'm going to move 39 up behind 21 because to me, the
Okay.
two Hollywood shows are very similar. And I think 17 goes in the A tier. It just depends. Do you want it ahead of the Hollywoods or at the bottom of the Hollywoods?
I don't care. I don't like it there. So, but I don't care.
Where do you want it?
I don't care.
What is it?
I don't know. I think if they had leaned it, like if the show was my way, it would make sense. But
Would you want to drop it below? Would you have it below 1?
In terms of theme, maybe. But again, I don't care. Just put it wherever. It doesn't matter.
Well, no. I mean, I'm not married to that.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
All right, let's leave it like this for now.
Sure.
So we got 6. We got 6 across the board. We got 4 left, right? So we can slot 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D if we don't want to make any major.
That would be the easy thing, but we'll see if that's what happens.
What's next?
24. Oh, that's another really good one.
Yeah.
So that's the palm trees.
Mhm.
That's the biggest WrestleMania under the sun. See, that I have no problem with because
it is.
There's that adjective.
They're all under the sun.
Well, not all. Some of them are under the moon. Many of them are under the moon.
It is that Big Show Mayweather kind of spotlighted over the other big matches.
But they choose the less.
They almost kill someone with the pyro.
Yes. I feel that like when you get to the main event, it doesn't feel like the biggest WrestleMania.
No, it does not.
And that's a big deal. That it does.
Right. If you put like Cena Rock on top of this card, that's stands out. To me, this is not an A. I don't think it's an A.
No.
Bottom
of the B.
Yeah,
but
I think it's below 17.
I think I like 14 better than it.
Yeah. Yep. Then put it below 15 too.
Okay.
I think 14 and 15 going to stay together.
All right. And then WrestleMania 2. Right. Now, here's the thing with WrestleMania 2. Do you want to give them credit for trying something? Because I don't think it worked, but it's so different, so unique.
Yeah.
And everything is based around these 3 buildings.
Like, yeah, I mean, they're loaded with the celebrities. Yes, there's threading back and forth. It feels kind of sports-ish. It feels consistent. You got
what the world has come to.
Yeah, which is, I mean, no, I wouldn't put it at a B. How do you have it compared to like 4?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Like, you want to reward it for trying something.
Well, 4 tries something too.
Yeah, but I think 4 succeeds. Like, whereas I think 4 achieves what it succeeds to do. What it attempts to do. It succeeds.
Let's put 2 at the top of D.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
It's right behind 4. It's kind of above.
For me,
like the rest of D are kind of blah.
Yeah, if I was bringing up like, hey, do you want to try give it points for trying something? It's because it's in the middle. If not, it's at the bottom. But I don't think it's fair because what they were trying, it's like when a diver does like 50 flips and misses.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, that was really hard, so I get it.
Right. All right. So I think 37 is sneaky good. Love the pirate theme.
Sneaky bad.
They got the pirate theme. The ship is out there. They really lean on that, right? They're dressed up in some of the pirate stuff. Back in business, I think is a cool tagline because it's the first one with fans back. I've spoke about it a lot, right? Like being there live, the vibe was like so happy and upbeat, and it felt very much like a pirate party. Like you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, yo ho, yo, like it felt very much like that kind of. We're in this giant party ship. We're all having a good time. We're back live, and it had that feel to a very upbeat, positive feel to the night.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I find it almost unforgivable that they copy and pasted the year before. Like,
yeah, but they didn't get to really use it.
but to the point where the video packages were exactly the same off the top.
Yeah.
Like to me,
But
that's
if it was a shitty theme though, I'd be okay with it. But it's such a great theme. I was happy that they ran it back because it deserved like it deserved a real WrestleMania because it was such a good look. The pirate flag, like to me, it was such an iconic.
I agree. I agree with that in principle. Had they not done it the year before, they should have scrapped the design for the year before.
I'm not going to punish them for not thinking clearly.
I am going to punish them.
Listen, I'd have this I'd have it obscenely high, but I'll discuss with you this versus 17.
17's ahead of it.
All right.
And that's not me just trying to, that's not me trying to be a dick about it. I just like, I love the look of it. I actually really love the look of it. I can't tell you how disappointed I was when I turned it on, got excited for it, and saw the exact same video package. And maybe that's me being an asshole with it, but like I was just like, oh, I was like, come on, like you can't change one graphic. Like it.
Well, see, I didn't care enough about 36 or remember enough about 36 to even know it would have been the same. You know what I'm saying? Like 36 doesn't exist in my world.
You know what it felt? You know what it felt like to me? It felt emblematic of whenever something bad happens for them. Like Daniel Bryan gets in, John Cena's the B+ player now. It's just what it is. Like that's what, and it felt all like, okay, like we're doing this again. But I will concede that it looked great. I'm sure it felt positive to be there. I just don't have a strong.
Let's put it at the back of B for right now.
Sure.
Because I want to talk about our last one, which is 8. Because I think 8's a weird one. 2 great main events, an odd tagline. There's no real through line to the show.
No.
8 to me feels very much like in that, like 33, 35 vibe where it's like it looks really cool. There's memorable stuff, but there's no like connective tissue to it.
Yeah. It's the kind of card that felt like it was thrown together the month before.
Yeah.
Like, I love the card.
Right. So in that regard, it's similar to like 13 in a way, but it's better.
Yeah. But it looks better than 13, I think. Yeah. But not much. Like I like the stadium, but.
All right, let's do this. Let's work at the top, and then we'll come back to 8 at the bottom. So are you good? You want to move 10 up? No, put 8 at the bottom.
8 at the bottom, yeah. Move 10 up.
Move 10 up to the A's.
Yeah.
Move 14 up to the B's. 2 up to the C's. 20, 20, whatever the fuck that is. 19 up to the D's. And now where do you want to put 8 in the E's?
Maybe ahead of 27. Ahead of 25. Mm-hmm. Maybe just below 12, actually. Let's put it below 12.
Above 18?
In terms of theme.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like how 18 looks.
Yeah. All right, so how do you feel with what we got? Any major issues?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to put 14 above 37?
No, just leave it. I don't care. Okay. I'm happy 14 got some love. That's all that matters for me on that one, because like I really do think it's a bit underrated in terms of theme. But
do you want to discuss 24 and 3, or are you feeling all right there?
24 and you mean 20?
28 and 3, the goats.
We could if you want, but I don't know. I feel good with that one.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. All right, let's read these through. Let's see if anyone has got any qualms. I think this feels pretty good. It's the only list ever where 9's going to win anything. All right, for the votes from worst to best, our worst WrestleMania theme ever is 36, and then to WrestleMania 2000. Why don't you do the E's?
The E's at the bottom of the E's, we got 13. Heat. We got the biggest WrestleMania of all time in Atlanta, 27. We've got the non-25th anniversary in Texas. We have Icon versus Icon, 18, 8, 12, and 11 is the top of the E's.
All right, then we get the D tier, WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 38, then WrestleMania 6, WrestleMania 35, 33, 26, and
no, it wasn't 33, 34.
34, 26, and 23.
Yeah, and then with C's, the surprising 2, rounding out the C's, 4, 32, 29, 31, 24, and then 15.
Okay. B, we got 14, we got 37, then 17, then 1, which I think did pretty well. Then
Yeah.
33, 22, and 20.
Yeah. And then rounding out the A's, we have 10 at the bottom, 39, 21, 5, 30, 7, and then 3.
And then our GOATs, WrestleMania 28, and our greatest WrestleMania of all time based on theme. Is 9. Pretty cool.
Yes.
I like that. I think it feels good. I think we have a good mix of eras. Everything's kind of scattered.
Yeah.
I think it's a good mix of stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right, let us know your thoughts. Weigh in on our social media or right here on YouTube. You can put the comments in, subscribe, share us around. We appreciate it. We've been growing precipitously on YouTube, which we really appreciate. So follow us there and on TikTok as well. We love it. We'll be back next week. We'll continue our greatest WWE title change ever project. So we have another great installment there. Till then, drop the dookie because it's been dropped, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, jockass.
Hi there.